Hi guys, so let's do some screening for our knees over the next few weeks or days, and so I'm going to bring you exercises to help you to recover your knee. Now, one of the things that happens with any injury is that often we go to the doctor, we get diagnosed, we get medication, we need to rest. But that doesn't help in resulting in rehabilitation of the knee or the shoulders or any other part. Today we are looking at the knee in general, so we're going to do screening exercises. These screening exercises are going to tell us what exercises cause us pain, which side of the body they cause pain, why might the pain be happening, is our knee rotating in, do we have abduction, adduction in our thigh bone because our posterior chain isn't strong, are our knees not stable because of our the arch is collapsing. All of these things impact us when we are going into movements. So it's really important to understand our bodies, and we're all different. So when I grew up, I was called Twinkle Toes for a good reason. I used to stand a lot like this. I had to work really hard in changing my direction of my feet. Now, I have done that over time, but I remember when I used to run like this. I was a great runner, I ran internationally eventually, but I had to retrain that because not only was I impacted by the style of my running, my knees gave way when I ran. So I had to relearn, and I had to wear orthotics, I had to work on the arches of my feet, I had to work on the stabilization of my knees, and I still have to work on my posterior chain. My glutes turn off because I get sciatica as well, and stabilizing my hip and my hip mobility, although I can put my leg behind the head, is not as good as I would like. So these are things that I know about myself. Now we're going to learn what you know about yourself. So the first exercise, and for each exercise, we're going to do 5 repetitions. Get a friend, video record yourself. You're going to note pain from 0 to 10. You're going to note the movement patterns, whether the knee comes in or out. Does it come from the thigh, or does it come from the arch collapsing? Does it from the glute turning off? So imagine all of these movements in your joints are like a door opening and closing with the hinge. Now the hinge works beautifully when you go back and forth in alignment. But imagine if you pulled that door up slightly and it's not in alignment. That's what happens to our joints in our body. It won't close as well, the door, and our joints won't work as well. And over time, injuries occur, such as the ITB band syndrome, such as the tendonitis, of any of the ligaments, the knee instability, the dislocations. All sorts of things can occur. Even arthritis from overuse, of course, happens as well. But these things can have preventative measures, and they can also have rehab issues and rehab and exercises that we can do to help us. So let's do the screening. You're going to stand tall, legs are a little bit wider than hip width, and you're going to squat down. Now what I want you to note is if your knees are all just one maybe going in or out. So for example, a weightlifter who lifted very heavy weights, she started with a little bit of knee pain. She was lifting extremely heavy. Then eventually the knee pain became in every single movement she did. She went to the doctor, she got diagnosed with knee tendonitis and had to rest and not lift so heavy weights. When she went to a person that was able to help her with rehab exercises, what they did was these screening exercises. They noticed, not when she did the double leg squats, which we are doing now, double leg squats, so you're going down and up, making sure you're noting, does your feet turn out or in? I'll continue the story in a minute. Do you put more weight front or back? Do your knees travel and track straight line? Do you have any pain? Notice those things and write them down. But when she did the screening for the next exercise, the single leg squat, what they noted was when she came down as low as she could, because she could not hide it, the knee buckled on one side and it went inwards. And that was the root cause of the issue of the knee pain. So when they did the rehab exercises and the training, in over a year's time, she came back healthier and stronger than before. And you can too. So please note this and be mindful of it. So the next is a single leg squat. You're going to come down, you're going to notice how much wobbling is in the knee, if the arch is collapsing, if you're staying tall, rounding your back. All these things come down as deep as you can with nice and control. A mirror is also good to do this in front of too, if you don't have someone to film. Now what you do on one side, you have to do the other. Now this side is a little bit less stable for me, and that's because I rolled my ankle many years ago. So I know that this knee is definitely not as straight, and I also know that the arch of the foot is not as good on this leg. So I note those things. However, I know that I do not have any pain when I go down into this movement. That's a good thing, but there's still work that I can be done. As I go deeper, however, if I went lower and I have a sensitive day on my knee, I know as I get down the front of the knee through the inner side, starts to feel pressure. That is important to note. So the next one is knee traveling forward, double leg and single leg. So you stand on the side here, and you're going to travel your knee forward, stay up tall, and bring your legs forward. Notice if you have any pain or not in this, and if you're struggling with your posture as well, and your back body chain to stay tall. Okay? Make sure you notice if your knee is tracking in or out. Exactly the same movement on left and right, and you're going to do single leg. This becomes a lot harder, so your knee is tracking forward. And remember, notice pain 0 to 10. And the last one we're going to screen is that you're actually going to do a hinge movement, single leg. So that means that from this here, instead of staying up tall, we're going to hinge forward and do the single leg squat and come up. So again, you have changed the position of your body, creates a different pressure and tension. So the straight leg and the single leg one is going to make a difference when you stay up tall, when you go as deep as possible, and when you hinge forward. And also you're going to notice pain, pressure, and also how you control that movement. So screen each of these exercises. So you've got the squat, then the single leg squat as deep as you can go. Then you've got the knee tracking forward, staying tall for double leg and single leg. And then you have the hinging forward, single leg. Each exercise 5, track whether you may be putting weight excess on the outside, inside of your foot, front, back. Your foot may be rotating one way, your heel may be collapsing, your thighs may be abducting or adducting, your knees wobbling, and the pain threshold between 0 to 10. This will give you great insight to where the knee pain is originating from, so we can address it and make sure we do the right exercises for it. Thanks for joining me.